Welcome back here today to another tier list video. We have done every single position in the NBA. We've also ranked every NBA team in a tier list, and today we're going to be doing this whole rookie class. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? We are pretty much going to be ranking everybody from the 2023 draft plus Chet Holmgren and Craig Porter Jr. as well, who was an undrafted rookie. So if you guys do enjoy these tier list videos, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up on the video and let me know in the comments what you agree with or disagree with throughout the video. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on things as well. So let's hop into this. We have so many rookies. I think this tier list had every single rookie drafted in this past class. So we're going to have a ton of people in this TBD tier because some of these guys have not even played yet. So I'm actually just going to throw everybody into that TBD tier now. All right, so I'm just going to be throwing guys throughout TBD throughout this because I kind of just want to get into this. All right, so first up, we're going to talk about Anthony Black, who I think has shown some nice promise so far as a rookie. He's on a really good Orlando Magic team, so he hasn't really played too much, but I think in his limited minutes, he's shown a lot of promise. He had a good summer league as well. I wonder when he will have more time to shine. Probably not this year because they got Suggs, they got Cole Anthony. We'll see if they move on from Fultz at the deadline or maybe at the end of the year. I think he's a B-tier rookie. I think we could put him there. All right, Derek Lively this year has been an absolute stud. I think he's right there in that A tier of rookies. He's just like a perfect guy next to Luka, and they've developed such a great chemistry already. Like him as a rim roller, just on the defensive end, he's been a really good shot blocker. He's flying around on that side of the floor as well. I think the Mavericks have to be thrilled about Derek Lively's production so far. Next up, we're going to talk about Jarris Walker of the Indiana Pacers, who has spent some time in the G League this year, and when he's been called up, he hasn't been all that good. I mean, I think like the Pacers have playoff aspirations. They have a ton of big man depth, so it's really hard for him to get minutes. He just hasn't shined in his minutes like Anthony Black has in his limited minutes in Orlando. So I'm going to put Jarris Walker in that C tier. I think he'll be still fine going forward. Maybe they move on from Jalen Smith or Isaiah Jackson, or will be topping after this year, and he'll have more playing time next year. But I think for now, like Jarris Walker hasn't been in anything crazy as a rookie. I think Ausar Thompson, though, of the Detroit Pistons has to be in the A tier. The Pistons have been absolutely horrible this season. Obviously, I'm recording this before they play the Jazz, so maybe they beat them and they finally end their losing streak. But Ausar Thompson has been such a good defender for them, where he really doesn't get that much help in the passing lanes or just any type of help D in general. He's a good shot blocker, he's a good stealer, and he's also a fantastic rebounder for somebody at his position and size. Definitely needs to work on his outside shot, but I think he's been exceeding expectations so far. A-tier rookie. I think Cason Wallace has also been an A-tier rookie this year. This dude has been a dog on the defensive side of the floor. He's also been super efficient too in his limited offensive numbers, and the Thunder have been able to like rely on him offensively to knock down a shot or two. So he's been a good 3-and-D spark plug for them off the bench, and he's been great so far in his rookie campaign. See, like guys like Jett Howard, right? Like I wanted to rank every single first round pick at least, but he hasn't really played this year, so I really can't make a fair assumption on him. He's spent time on the bench, G League, obviously all that type of stuff. So I'm to throw him. I kind of want to throw him in TBD, but then again, I may just throw him in like D tier, and that could be like where these first round picks that I haven't really played a lot have like I could throw into, because I feel like I want to rank every single first rounder at least. So yeah, I'm gonna do that for Jett Howard. I'm also going to do that for Dariq Whitehead as well. And it's not a bad thing to be in D tier. We just really haven't seen anything from you this season. So next up, we'll talk about Brandon Bojemski, who I think has also been an A tier rookie, man. Him out of Santa Clara, I loved. He was one of my favorite prospects in this draft. I love the pick for the Golden State Warriors. And he has been such a good all-around spark plug for them, giving them some youth, some life, much needed life, and what has been a very disappointing season for the Golden State Warriors. So yeah, I'm throwing Bojemski in that A tier. I think we're going to have our first S tier rookie, and I think that's Jaime Jaquez. I know he was going to be better than pretty much most of these guys on this list because he was an upperclassman coming out of UCLA. He has more experience than most of these guys, and he was expected to be pretty good right away, and he has done that. So shout out to Jaime Jaquez, who's been such a good scorer for Miami, and they definitely needed somebody like him to hopefully go and try to win a championship this year, something they failed to do last year. Bilal Coulibaly, I'm also going to throw in A tier. He's been really efficient. He was also thrown into such a poor environment and just team dynamic right away, playing with a lot of ball dominant guys like Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, but I think he's been efficient himself. He's been pretty active on the defensive side of the floor, and I thought he was going to be in like the G League to start off his career, but he's playing real minutes, so I want to give a shout out to Bilal. We're going to have, I think, a decent amount of A tier rookies because this rookie class has been pretty solid so far. I think Craig Porter Jr. has also been pretty good. I don't think he has as high as potential as anybody in A or S tier, but he's been providing Cleveland some good backup point guard minutes, something they really haven't been getting from Ty Jerome. Rubio's been hurt, and I think they just parted ways with him as well, and with the injury to Darius Garland, Craig Porter Jr. is going to have to step up, and I think he's been a B tier rookie this year. Also, as an undrafted rookie, that's pretty cool. All right, Amen Thompson, we haven't really seen this year, unfortunately. Like, the dude has played 86 total minutes. I'll throw him in C tier. I'll do the same with Jett Howard and Dariq Whitehead as well. So D tier will just be rookies that have played a decent amount, but have not been good and could be trending in the other direction already. But these guys are always so young in their careers. So we'll talk about Brandon Miller next. I think Brandon Miller has also been an S tier rookie. I do think he's been better than everybody in A tier just because he's been a primary scoring option for Charlotte. He's been way more efficient than I thought he'd be on spot up threes and like kind of in the corner as well. And I really like his offensive ability this year. And another weird situation in Charlotte that really wasn't going to be a winning dynamic. Like I feel like rookies like Cason Wallace and Derek Lively have been put into perfect positions where they're not even like the top 3 options on the team and they're surrounded by great players like Luka and Shea. But I think guys like Bilal, Brandon Miller have done a fine job with not much around them. All right, Keontae George, I'm going to throw in that B tier. He has shown tons of flashes this year, but he's been asked to do way more than I think he thought going into this year, being sometimes the starting point guard for this team and the primary ball handler. Probably did not expect that when he was taken outside of the lottery out of Baylor, and I think he's been inconsistent at times, but that's what you'd expect from a rookie guard. So I think he's been fine enough where it warrants a B tier over a C tier, but I don't think he's been as good as maybe some of the guys in A tier. All right, Chet Holmgren, that's another S tier rookie right there. Somebody that's going to be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, is one of the better big man shooters already. Yes, he's not a true 2023 draft class guy, but he's a true rookie since he didn't play at all last year, and he's been an elite guy on the defensive side of the floor. He's been a monster on the offensive side for somebody at 21 years old. Chet Holmgren is a beast. He's a dog. He belongs in that S tier. He's the best rookie. He's the best player that we have talked about so far in this video. All right, we got another A tier rookie coming up, and that is going to be Marcus Sasser out of Houston. He was a late first round pick by the Pistons. Like Jaquez, a little bit older coming out of school, but he's been very efficient for this Detroit team. I think he's actually a pretty underrated playmaker. He's a flashy passer, and I feel like he'd be such a nice like complementary piece to a team that's trying to win. But like Asar Thompson, he's in the worst environment this year. Just a bottom feeder in the league, like the biggest loser in the league this year, the Detroit Pistons. So it sucks to see from a rookie, but at least as a rookie guard, he's been efficient. He's shooting around 48% from the field, 42 from 3, above 80% from the line. I like Sasser for them going forward, maybe even more than I like Jaden Ivey. All right, unfortunately, Grady Dick has been a D tier rookie so far this season. He's played a little bit more than 200 minutes, but he has not been efficient whatsoever from the field. I think that will come though. He has spent some time with the Raptors G League team, and he's going to get better throughout the season. I feel like the Raptors just have to figure out what their team is going to be after the deadline and then plug in Grady Dick on their future plans. All right, so for like Kobe Buffkin, I mean, it's similar to Jett Howard and Derek Whitehead. I just don't really know where to put those guys, so I'm actually just going to throw them in TBD just because they haven't really played yet this year, or they played like less than 30 minutes total. I actually think Toumani Camara belongs in the B tier of rookies. This dude has been a nice defender for Portland on what has been like a losing team, so at least he's providing some energy for them off the bench, and he's a nice find, and they got him in that Drew Holiday 3-team trade from Phoenix. Julian Strawther for Denver, the late first round pick, has been solid for them off the bench. He's not been super efficient, but he's shown plenty of flashes this year. I mean, guys like Keontae George and Toumani Camara haven't been efficient either, but I think he's been good enough where he's a B tier rookie. All right, we'll talk about Vasilija Micic here, who was signed overseas for the OKC Thunder. Maybe we thought he was going to be the backup point guard this year, but he's definitely been outplayed by Cason Wallace. So I don't even know if Micic is going to be back next year in OKC. He's going in that D tier. It also hurts that he's 29 years old as well. So I felt weird kind of having Grady Dick in that tier because he's like 9 years younger than him. So yeah, I'm just throwing these guys in C tier. Same with Jalen Hood-Schifino, who has not looked good, but it's also been such a limited sample size. So I think the C tier is like, you haven't really played. When you played, you haven't looked good. And it's like a lot of TBD, but I want to at least rank you since you were a first round pick. These guys, I think, have made some type of impact in the B tier. A tier have been really good, and then S tier have been like one of like the team's maybe top like 3 guys this season on solid teams. So I like where this is at right now. We could talk about Sasha Vezenkov, who has been a solid 3-point shooter for Sacramento, and that's what he was signed to be. He's also 28 years old as well, so you got to give him like a little bit more like, all right, maybe he should be a little bit better than some of these other guys, but he's a 3-point shooter, pretty much all he is. I'm going to throw him in B tier. All right, next up, Scoot Henderson, the 3rd overall pick. He was my number 2 player in this class. He's going to be slide into that C tier. He's played a little bit more than everybody else in this tier, but he hasn't looked good. But he, like, that was to start off the year. He has looked better as of late, which makes me happy. And people were hating on Scoot so much. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? This dude's like 19, 20 years old, and he just started his NBA career. I think he's actually shown flashes enough where he's like B tier. I mean, yeah, these guys have either been bad or haven't really shown anything this year because they haven't really played. I think we've seen enough flashes from Scoot. He just has to work on his outside shot, but I think, yeah, he should be in B tier. That was mean to me to put him in C. Taylor Hendricks hasn't really played a whole lot this year for the Utah Jazz, which has been kind of disappointing since he was a top 10 pick, and we've seen mainly every other top 10 pick besides Amen Thompson play a decent amount this year, but the Jazz have a ton of bigs like Collins, Markkanen, Olynyk, Kessler, so it's been hard for him to find rotational minutes, so I'm going to put him in C tier. Jordan Hawkins has been a nice kind of spark plug for New Orleans this year. He's been a good three-point shooter, not a good overall shooter, so I'm debating if I want to keep him in B tier, but I think I should throw him up into A tier because he's been a nice 3-and-D guy for them, and he's going to provide them some like meaningful minutes this year because the Pelicans want to make the playoffs. All right, we're going to have a lot of C tier rookies coming up next tier. First, I'm going to go with OMP, Olivier Maxence Prosper, who really hasn't played at all for Dallas this season. We're going to throw Kobe Buffkin and Cam Whitmore and Noah Clowney in C tier as well. We haven't really seen anything from these guys. Like, I was so excited about Kobe Buffkin. I loved him at Michigan, but with Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Bogdan Bogdanovic, already like AJ Griffin was there. Like, they just had so many guards that it was going to be tough for Buffkin to find any playing time unless an injury happened. So it's been a little bit sad to see him kind of not play at all this year. Cam Whitmore has been killing it in the G League, but yeah, hasn't really played any big league minutes for the Houston Rockets this year. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything from Noah Clowney, though. I thought we would have seen him a little bit more. I also really like Nick Smith more than a lot of people for the draft out of Arkansas. He was like a top 10 like consensus pick going into last year's collegiate season, then fell off a little bit, but I think he's shown some really nice promise in his limited playing time this year. I'm going to throw him in B tier. I think Nick Smith is really good. I hope we see him more throughout the season, and I want to keep evaluating him as a prospect. Maybe this is just like my pre-draft bias that I just love Nick Smith, but I think he's shown some nice flashes when he's actually played this season because he didn't have the best summer league, so I want to see more from him. All right, we got a couple more C tier rookies. Ben Shepherd, who's spent time in the G League. I don't even think he's starting in the G League at times, which is just super weird for Indiana. Bryce Sensabaugh, who kind of fell in the draft due to some medicals. He hasn't really played at all for Utah this year either, so he's a C tier. And then the last pick of the first round, Kobe Brown, has played a little bit for the Clippers this year, but nothing too crazy. Also going to throw him in the C tier as well. Next up, I want to talk about Andre Jackson, who hasn't played a ton like minutes-wise for the Bucks this season, but he's played a decent amount of games. I think he's a B tier rookie. Like, when he's on the floor, this dude flies. He's very like an active player. He's a good hustle guy, and he's going to be efficient for you as well. If he played a little bit more, I think he'd be like the next man up into the A tier. And lastly, no brainer, Victor Wembanyama, S tier. I do think if I had to give a rookie of the year right now today, I would give it to Chet Holmgren over Wembanyama, but obviously Wembanyama has been a freak on both ends of the floor. Just what he does, and like as a rim protector, shot blocker, he's been way better as a center this year than he has as a power forward. And once this guy gets a true playmaking with at least above average court vision point guard, this dude will average 25 points per game. There's countless times where he can get an alley-oop. He's open on the pick and roll. He's open like backdoor, and it's not hard to miss him. He's 7'4". It's a shame. I mean, San Antonio's been bad this year. I don't even know if he's gonna like finish out the year with them. They may just rest him towards the end of the year, but I'm praying that they find a point guard this offseason. Fred VanVleet would have been perfect next to him, but obviously they just kind of wanted to build with their young guys like Trey Jones, and they experimented with Jeremy Show in a point guard. Didn't really work out. And I'm actually going to do one more rookie. I'm going to throw Chase Jackson-Davis into that B tier. He actually had a great game the other night for the Golden State Warriors against the Boston Celtics. Hopefully we're going to see him play a little bit more. Loved him as a prospect too. I had a first round grade on him, and he was one of the last picks of the draft overall. So he's been one of the better second rounders. So the second rounders I threw in here were Andre Jackson, Toumani Camara, and Chase Jackson-Davis. And that is going to be it for the ranking. So I basically ranked every single point guard. We did Misic, and we did Vezenkov, the Euro guys that came over. We did the 2022 number 2 overall pick, and Chet Holmgren, who didn't play at all last year. We did the undrafted rookie Craig Porter Jr., who's making an impact this year. Maybe somebody that's also played a decent amount this year has been Dwap Reith of the Portland Trailblazers. I had no idea who this guy was going into this year, and when I saw his name, like, I think in a box score just looking at like a Trailblazers game, or I was watching a game and I just see this guy going on the floor, I'm like, who is this? I've never heard of this dude. 27-year-old rookie out of South Sudan. He played at LSU, so I think he's been pretty good this year for Portland. I think he's a B tier. I think he's been pretty much better than everybody in C tier. And then you could throw basically everybody down here into the TBD. They really haven't played that much, and like everybody down here is under 100 total minutes on the season. So I lied. I forgot to do one first round pick, and that was Chris Murray, who I'm also going to throw in the C tier. He hasn't been great offensively in his limited playing time this year. I think he's actually been better on defense than I thought. He's going to be in C tier. So basically, I wasn't too harsh in this video. We're definitely going to be more harsh at the end of the season after we see a full year of action. These are just 2 months into these guys' careers, so I didn't want to overreact and make a fool out of myself. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Drop a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Like I said, I'll do this again after the regular season season ends and we'll look back on all their rookie campaigns. I'm really excited to see hopefully some more playing time out of like Leonard Miller, City Sissoko, Colby Jones in the future. Those were some of my favorite second round picks. Maxwell Lewis as well. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. I love you, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.